Many times when people come out to talk about the you and May situation, you hear people leave comments and say things like, oh, you was forced to marry May. You said that he didn't want to marry May when he did. If you know the story, you and May actually got married quite early. Sources have said that since they went to university together and when May got pregnant for you, you had to get married to him. Considering the kind of family that you came from, his father went like, you have to marry me, and you went all out and he got married to me. And they have 4 children now together. And I know that when this kind of thing happens, there are those people who always want to stand on the side of Yul Edochie and justify his actions and justify what he did. Oh, he's not the first person to have a second wife. Oh, he's not the first one to cheat on his wife. Oh, he's not the first person to bring another woman with a child back home. So now let's even assume for 1 second that you was actually forced to marry May against his will. Now you were in a relationship with her, which led to the pregnancy. I strongly doubt that you was forced into that relationship. In fact, his father probably wasn't even wasn't there when he met me. So now there's a relationship that led to pregnancy, and they got married and they started having kids. Throughout all these years of having kids, there was no time when you ever came out to say, oh, they forced me to get married to me. Never did we hear it. What happened was you always being proud about this beautiful family that he created with May. In fact, if you followed him for a long time, you would see that one of the things that he was proud of was the fact that he had children who were grown up at his young age. He would always brag on how old his daughter was and how he would say, oh, he's so years old, he has a teenage daughter. He would always brag on his daughter. He always brag about what things he has achieved as a young person who got married early and has a wife with grown up children. That was one of the things that you always bragged upon. You never talked about this whole marriage thing from a place of, oh, I was forced into this. I didn't want to get married to her. It's just something that happened. And when I hear people talking about it right now, talking about the fact that he was forced, and that is why 17 plus years later, he wanted to go meet Judy, or he wanted to go start something else with somebody else. That for me is just a very weak excuse. If for any reason throughout the 17 years you say you not do again, you didn't want to be married to May anymore, there were 1,000,001 ways you would have gone about it, which wouldn't have created the kind of mess that this whole way you went about marrying Judy has created. Now maybe you was forced to marry May and she's not the woman of his dreams. So now that you've gotten married to Judy and people are saying and Larry Coltsworth advised him that he should ask May to leave if May doesn't want to stay, and he's saying no, he's going to get her calm that she's going to stay, that it will not get to the point of her leaving. Why don't you want her to leave if she's not the woman of your dreams? This is for you and people like you who want to behave like this and think that they can cook up excuses, because if you don't like somebody and you want to get married to somebody that you are not forced to get married to, that means you're willing to let the first one go. Do you guys get what I'm saying? So now that first one should not go. She's not enough for you, but you still want to manage her. Do you get what I'm saying? You want something else on the table, but you can still have don't shift the breakfast, but bring the lunch. You get leave the lunch and breakfast, then just add dinner on the table. Who does that? You understand? You have to clear off the table from the first meal to have the second meal. You has made his decision, and it's actually the decision to actually get married to Judy. You understand? And you remember what May said in her live stream, that what she went through, she wouldn't wish it for anybody. She doesn't wish it for anybody. That's to show that it's not an easy path that she has had to go through. And for people to look for ways to try to justify what you did is just beyond me. So whether you was forced into marrying May when they got married, or whether he didn't want to get married to her and they had to get married, is another situation, because the picture that you painted before this whole mess happened was a picture of, oh, I'm in love with May. Oh, May is the woman of my dreams. Oh, May is the wife of my youth. Oh, May is my beautiful wife. That's the picture that you successfully painted up until he slipped, made this, I won't even call it a mistake, did what he wanted to do now and has Judy in his life, then looks for subtle ways to apportion this blame and make it look like, oh, it's not just all my fault, and it's not like I wanted to do what I did to May, but maybe I wouldn't have married her if I wasn't forced to marry her. Or people coming to give this excuse that maybe you wouldn't have married May if he wasn't forced to marry May. Even if he didn't marry May, do you think he would have married Judy then? I'm asking. However you want to look at it, for me, you was married to May for almost 18 years and never for once came out to talk about the fact that he was forced or anything, or never insinuated that stuff was happening up until he made this big decision that he wanted to make with Judy. Now we're looking for 1,000,001 ways to justify all the decisions that he has made now, and it's going to just look for a way to sprinkle a little bit of blame on May. But funnily, it's not working. I think this was in the plan, but sadly, good for him actually, it's not working. Please share your thoughts with me in the comment section. I want to know what you think about this and the whole insinuations of that you was actually forced to get married to me, and that's why right now, after almost 20 years, he can go get Judy, because he didn't really want to get married to me in the first place. It's the Rose Show, and I thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, you know what to do. Like it. Please subscribe. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.